thank you all for being here. Yes, I would like in meantime to go with this presentation to tell you pretty much what I've been passed through, and in meantime what Kosovo is passing through as a newest country in Europe. I started journalism after the war in 2001. During the war I was 17, so I do remember how we used to live under the Milosevic regime. Then during the war, so until late war, we remained in Kosovo, and then after the war I started journalism. These are two pictures. The first one is when I started, I was 19, March 2001. This picture of my attack of this year, I'm gonna show you what happened in meantime. These two photos are immediately like during the war when the NATO intervention. So the city when I come from, so Italian troops came because it's coming from different countries, so Italians were based in Jakova, but these are at the day when the NATO bombed Serbia and in Kosovo the army and military. So there was genocide. More than 20,000 women were raped. There are still a lot of men and young disappeared. So this is 1999. So we came up after the war being poor, having everything new. We were all focused on having a new state. So no one was paying attention what is happening. I start as a journalist very young in the biggest newspaper. So in the first 10 years, I've been covering a lot on corruption, organized crime. I've been following the money, public tenders. I start facing different threats, but it became normality, like calling on phone. I remember I was going with my two children at my parents' home from capital city. Someone was following me. So it became a normality. There was not a lot of social media at that time, but there were different ways. I was interested on the main guys. They were involved into the organized crime. I'm gonna show you. So this is the photo, because soon we're gonna have the 10 year of declaring our independence. I'm gonna mention the secular state, even though 90% declare Muslims, but they are not practicing Muslims. We have more Christian culture, so we celebrate New Year's Eve, Christmas. So it's as being presented as like Muslims. So what I've been mentioning, we were all focused on having our institution, corruption. This is one of my two investigative. This guy is the head of appeal court, the judge. I find out his links with drug dealers and the murders and involvement of whole his network, lawyers, his friends. So this was one of the biggest investigation that was revealed of this high position. This other one is, as I want to go to the religion, when they start suing journalists, they sued me, a businessman which was close to the political parties. He was asking for me 700,000 euros. For 3 years I was into the court, and then I won the case. So this was the way how to scare you and stop by covering. As I said, for 10 years covering this stuff, and then we forgot that something else is happening in Kosovo. A lot of NGOs, charity NGOs, on charity purpose came after the war from Saudi Arabia. Immediately in 1999, they were based in Kosovo. They were starting in the small villages where the disappeared men during the war, when the women were alone with their kids. So they were building illegal mosques. They were giving free English and computer courses to the children 7 to 10 years old. And they start learning, so they ask in return to learn Quran. So I have seen that, I have noticed that something is changing. As I said, the secular state, and we're having more and more covered women, men with beards and short pants on the street. So I decided to go within their houses to meet them and to see what is happening. I went to the most controversial imams, Wahhabis, within their houses. Not only in Kosovo, but all around the states in the Balkans. I went in Macedonia, Albania, and even into London, because I find out that some money is coming from some Pakistan NGOs that are in London. They were sending money to the orphans in Kosovo and also to the other Balkan states. See, in 2012 was the first investigation. It took me 8 months. I did almost 100 interviews in Kosovo, Macedonia, and in London. And I find out the network of the imams, NGOs, recruiters all over the Balkans, and I publish it. It was published into the Balkan Investigative Network reporting and some international media. So, and then the reaction started. The reaction started because I was naming names, who the imams, what is the amount of money. So my picture will everywhere spread as an Islamophobe of Kosovo. This photo with kids, I've been criticizing all the time what is happening. So I put the picture and I said that don't allow these Muslim guys to spread the materials to the children, because this is how they brainwash them. It doesn't happen that they go over the night to Syria. This is how it starts. And it was Friday when I published this, and from Friday until Monday, I received more than 200 threats. Since 2012, on daily basis, I meet a lot of people. I have my sources within the Muslim community. I have imams, traditional imams that were helping me what is happening inside. I decided, 2016, I decided to see what is going on with women that joined ISIS. It took me a lot of times to investigate because it's very hard to convince their family to talk. I've been working a lot, and I find out that most of them are these young children after the war. They were being brainwashed by this organization. These women, they even took their children to Syria. So this photo, this woman with these 2 children is in Syria. And this other photo was took in the streets of Pristina. It took me a lot to investigate this and to find out what is happening and who is recruiting them, their links with recruiters, the way they are going to Syria through the Turkey. And I cannot count the insultment they've been doing to me every time I write and I say something, and the threats that I receive. I stopped reporting at the police just when they mentioned my kids, as this on the right side. They have sent me a picture, but I made it the blur. It's killed, and they said that, as for you, we're gonna find you, and we know how much you love your children. And this other photo is also sent on my Facebook, that this gun, we're gonna kill you. And the other one was that we're gonna find you mentioning my kids. The propaganda started coming from, not only from Kosovo, also from Macedonia and the states where I've been reporting on the religion, not only dealing with me, but also with my family. This is my family, and this is a picture when my son loves Spider-Man, and he's doing like Spider-Man. They took a picture, and they said that I am teaching my son to be a Satan, and not only this picture being spread using the face of my son, but also comments of people that the small Satan of Arbana. It's sad when you have all that hate against you and your family, involvement of my family, but when you get awards, this one in 2015, I received International Woman of Courage Award at the State Department, and it was announced from the U.S. ambassador, and then I went there. But since then, they start saying that I was paid by the Americans to write against Islam. So the reaction started again after this award when I received in 2015. I've been underestimating the threats. After the Saudi Arabia, I started investigating the influence of Erdogan in Balkans. So not only Saudi Arabia, but also Turkey is putting a lot of influence. There is Islamic agenda. He's building a lot of new mosques. So what I've been doing, I've been covering what he's doing, who is giving money, the political parties in Kosovo, in Macedonia. I've been investigating the mosque that he built, and I've published all the documents, because he's doing this through the state NGO. Through the state NGO, he has the clearly Islamic agenda in Balkans. And this photo, both of these photos were spread all over the internet. And this first one says that this is Arbana is a hooker, and she's trying to destroy the relations between Albanian and Turks, and is insulting the Turkish ambassador. And the other one, you can understand that I am aggressive and the danger. This was spread all over the internet after I have a big polemic with the Turkish ambassador when she said that we are brothers, and I said, no, we are not brothers. You occupied us for 500 years, so you forced to change the religion. So we can have like a state relation, but we have nothing to do with each other. So I had a big polemic with her. And they are saying after the polemics this was spread. So as I said, I underestimate the threats, and this happened a couple of, in the late March of this year. This is the door of my apartment and the parking garage. In the middle of the day, someone draw with a red, it looks like blood, it's not blood, crosses next to my door and my parking. So they wanted to warn me for something. Police said that I need close protection, and I said no. It was not easy for my children to see this, but still I thought if someone wanted to do something to me, they wouldn't come and just drawing these red crosses. A couple of weeks later, I was in Albania talking about the Erdogan impact and what is happening in Balkans with the influence from East. At that night, when I come back from Albania, that my parking garage happened the attack. And these are the photos of that night. It was dark. What I know that was two men, and they'd beaten me up. And these are the photos of that night and the hospital. So the pain passes, but the thing is, it hurts when you hear people saying that she made it up this. Nothing happened to her. I didn't want to publish what happened into my body until I find out that a colleague of mine, a journalist, she's a female, she has 2 daughters, when she said that it's not a big deal. I was also in the TV show telling what happened to me, and they presented like some of the challenges of Arbana. So these are the pictures of my body. Like a few days after the attack, they were trying to break my leg. I know it's not easy for my family, my kids especially. I am with a close protection. But this is not my battle, this is our battle. The Islamic, the influence of the East and the Western values, it's all our battle. As I said, except of the attack, when you get to be heard, when you read what they were saying, like, she is against Islam, she has to be killed. So this is what, even though, as I am saying, not majority, they are groups, but they are very loudly into the social media. It is not easy to deal with this issue, but this is my cause. I've put my whole family in danger, myself, and I'm not planning to stop. Soon I will start writing a book on Erdogan impact in Balkans, the way he's trying to spread his Islamic agenda. We, as a state, we have passed a lot during the war. It was not religious fight. We had a big cause, our national, we want to survive. There was a genocide in Kosovo. Now we have a secular state. Our heroes, Mother Teresa, Skanderbeg, they are Christian heroes. We should not allow to insult them, so we should save our secular state. So I'm continuing working on this. So there is a lot of things happening. It's not only, now we have Islamic State, who knows what might happen tomorrow. We should see what is happening without our society. We should not let them change our culture. So, thank you.
Ed è tutto, grazie.